In the Unresolved Problems segment tonight, the fight over Justice Scalia's replacement. During a news conference today, President Obama made his most pointed comments yet about it, lashing out at the Senate as obstructionists.
The fact that we've almost grown accustomed to a situation that is almost unprecedented, where every nomination is contested. Everything is blocked, regardless of how qualified the person is. The venom and rancor in Washington has prevented us from getting basic work done.
Joining us now with reaction from Boston, Democratic strategist Marianne Marsh, and with us in studio, Andrea Tantaros, co-host of Outnumbered. Now, Ange, a couple things that struck me on that news conference today was when he said he's blaming the Republicans for being obstructionists. By the way, I think the Republicans should at least hear who he wants to put up. But when he said, when the question was asked whether he's going to nominate a moderate, he said, no, I didn't say that. He didn't say he was or wasn't, but he certainly drew kind of a line in the sand.
Yeah, but the most important thing that jumped out to me is that he's a hypocrite. I mean, he talked about this obstruction, but when President Obama was a senator in 2005, he voted to filibuster Samuel Alito. He also voted against John Roberts, even though he said he was eminently qualified, Eric. He said it was just because of his politics that he couldn't do it. So now President Obama doesn't want Republicans to follow the rules that he created. So it's highly hypocritical. I do agree with you, though, Eric. I think that they should hear who his nominee is. He does have that right. Hear who it is, but I think McConnell needs to stand up and do what the Republican Party elected him and put him into power to do, and that is say, all right, you like a filibuster so much, President Obama? We'll give you a filibuster, 60 votes, and he'll never get it.
The other thing, Marianne, that struck me during that news conference was that President Obama was basically saying, oh, the Republicans, all of a sudden they want to go by the rule of law. They want to go by the rule of the word of the Constitution. Well, President Obama himself has been working his way around the Constitution for the better part of 7 years. Think Obamacare using the Commerce Clause. Think Executive Order on Immigration. Think Gitmo. Think Drone Program. He's been time and time again going around the Constitution.
No, if that were the case, then they would have all been overturned, Eric. The fact is he's used every tool at his disposal every time the Republicans have thwarted him. And to Andrea's point, both Alito and Roberts are in the court. So you can filibuster, you can vote against people, but let's go through this. And that's what I don't understand about this. Not only is it wrong not to fill Scalito's seat, it's bad politics. I don't understand why Republicans think that voters will reward them.
Andrea and I both are agreeing with you that let the process work. Let him nominate and let the Republicans decide whether they want to put that nominee in the seat.
Well, but then it sounds as if, when you listen to the Republicans, that they're not ever going to even vote on it. So I think the issue here is, I don't understand why Republicans think voters will reward them for not playing by the rules and doing their job, when that's exactly what's fueling this election. And you're looking at a Republican primary where more Republicans are turning out, but it's not only Republicans who are going to vote in November, it's all voters, many moderates, many independents, and that's going to hurt Republicans.
Guys,
and hand the Senate to the Democrats.
I don't have a ton of time, but I want to get this in. President Obama actually weighed in on Donald Trump.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president. And the reason is because I have a lot of faith in the American people. And I think they recognize that being president is a serious job. It's not hosting a talk show or a reality show.
All right. Marianne, your thoughts on the president weighing in on Donald Trump's potential nomination? Wow.
Well, notice he didn't say he wouldn't be the nominee. Okay, so if Trump wins on Saturday, it's hard to imagine he won't be the nominee. And I believe if it's a Trump-Clinton race, it's going to be one of the closest elections we've seen since 2000, a very tough, hard-fought race between them.
What do you think, Ange? Was that the time or the place for President to be weighing in on the 20th? I know he's asked the question, but I don't know. Maybe at some point you go, let's talk about the Supreme Court.
Eric, he's very, very worried. I mean, we saw him sit down with 60 Minutes last month and mention Trump by name and say that he's making the blue-collar male angry. That, to me, told me they're looking at numbers and they see that Trump has crossover appeal with male blue-collar voters. That's supposedly a Democratic stronghold, and President Obama is nervous. And you know this. You don't punch down you always punch up. He is actually elevating Donald Trump, and I think it helps him in a Republican primary to have President Obama attack him.
Are you surprised he did? You're surprised he did debate on that question?
I'm not surprised because he's done it before. The Democrats are very nervous about Donald Trump winning and the crossover appeal breaking into those Reagan Democrats, traditional Democratic voters. I think it's really telling.
All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. Marianne, thank you very much for bringing fair and balance to the debate right here, and no spin.